Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are taking a look at something I am so very excited to do. I kind of had to change up the angle a little bit because, well, the last time I tried to do a 1/6 scale figure review, I think it was my custom Commander Dubria figure. Last time I tried to do that, the framing was just bad, so trying a higher angle, hopefully I can, like, get my arms in here and do the review properly. But yeah, today we're looking at the Hot Toys 501st Battalion Clone Trooper, the deluxe version, which means we've got 3 helmets to look at, as well as a ton of accessories you're not going to see with the standard release. And I am so excited. I cannot wait to open this up. And yeah, this released earlier than Captain Rex, even though they announced the pre-order for this figure after Captain Rex. Captain Rex got pushed back to October. My pre-order is still active, and it will of course ship, and I will review it when I get it. In the meantime, I will have this guy as well as a second one of these waiting for Captain Rex to arrive, and they will look so cool on the shelf. Captain Rex flanked by 2 clone troopers, though I don't know how I will display them, whether I'll do the 332nd or if I'll just do the standard 501st, but either way, oh man, it's so good to have this in hand. And without further ado, let's get into it. So of course we have the box here. It's very sleek as usual with these Hot Toys figures. At the bottom here we just have this band that shows the name of the trooper, as well as some coloration. On the side you've got that, all of that all the way around. It looks really nice. The deluxe sticker up there. And in general, yeah, it's your typical Hot Toys box. There isn't too much to talk about with that. If you've had one, you sort of have had all of them. The only thing that changes is the artwork and the names. But then let's break open this, slide it right up, and of course we have this beautiful full art cover sleeve, the 501st Battalion there wielding his minigun, the Z6 minigun, which is included with the deluxe figure. It is not included with the standard release figure. Now inside the box we have 3 plastic trays, the figure, this smaller one for accessories, and of course this one with the weapons and the figure stand itself. I think what we'll do with this, since I'm kind of new to the 1/6 reviews, I'm not quite sure how these will be formatted when I actually upload them. We're going to start looking at the figure, we'll take kind of a broad overview of it, go over articulation and stuff, and then we'll change camera angles, get in a little bit tighter so we can look at a lot of these smaller accessories like the thermal detonators and the hands, because you're going to want to see those up close. They have a lot of detail packed into them, and I feel like if I did it from this angle, it just wouldn't be quite as good or detailed, and you wouldn't be able to really appreciate what is included. So we'll start here with the figure. Of course, it does come with 2 little extra hand pegs in case you lose one or you break one. I've never broken one personally, but it's nice to have these because the small pieces can break, especially if you pose these multiple times a month or a year and you get really rough with them, or you do toy photography with them like I do. You actually do stand a pretty good chance of eventually either losing or breaking one of those little pegs. To start things off, we have the Phase 1 helmet. This is a really nice looking helmet sculpt. I don't believe that we've gotten a Hot Toys Phase 1 Clone Trooper before. I think this is the first one because previously it was Sideshow and now we're getting actual Hot Toys Clone Troopers. Both brands do excellent work, but I'm excited to see what Hot Toys will do with these Clone Troopers. Now this paint scheme is kind of non-canonical since we never saw a realistic Phase 1 design, and in the Clone Wars, the Phase 1 only had stripes, whereas of course this body back here is going to have the Phase 2 501st markings, so maybe it's a little bit of a non-canonical Clone Trooper design, but still looks really nice. Then we have the Phase 2 332nd Ahsoka Battalion helmet. The sculpt is the same as the other Phase 2, just with a nice orange paint job with those Ahsoka markings. It looks really sweet, the weathering looks great, the paint apps all look really crisp. And as far as I am aware, this is the same helmet that we're going to get with Captain Rex. Captain Rex comes with his helmet as well as one of these 332nd helmets. So if you wanted to get 2 of these troopers, you could get the deluxe version and then also get a non-deluxe version and get Captain Rex. Then you would have 2 501st, and you could just swap the 501st helmet with the 332nd from Captain Rex, and there you go. You'd have a full setup without buying 2 deluxe. Though I will say the price difference between the standard and the deluxe is not that much, and you get a ton of accessories that are really nice to have, so I don't know, maybe just consider getting 2 deluxe figures. I don't think it's that big of a price difference, and if you're really heart set on having 2 of these figures, it might be the better way to go. Then we move on to the figure itself. Really, really excited to take a close-up look at this. The paint apps, the sculpt, all of it looks really, really crisp, just taken out of the packaging here. The blue might be a shade dark for the movie accurate 501st coloration. This is very, very deep blue, and I feel like there's a little bit of a lighter tinge to the realistic models created for Revenge of the Sith. I know people on Instagram and in the customizing community go back and forth on what the proper 501st blue color is, but for a figure, as long as this matches the Captain Rex figure, I don't care. It's a blue color, it's close enough, it's actually probably pretty close to the 3 3/4 inch 501st, maybe that's part of their inspiration. But as long as it matches the Captain Rex figure, there's no complaints from me because that's what it will be displayed with, and I would want it to match within the line, within the scale, and I don't necessarily care if it's like 100% movie accurate. There are these quickly removable plastic little gloves on him, as well as these little boots, I guess you could say. These are just to protect the figure's paint apps while it is in the packaging. They slide off with ease, and then you have your figure free from that. To me, this feels like the same body that we got with Commander Cody, though I don't know for sure. Same head articulation with the double ball joint. The shoulder pads are on those little elastic bands, which allow you to kind of shift the shoulder plate around as you move the arm outward. I don't want to stress it too much since this is right out of the package, and I would rather break those joints in a little bit slowly. They're typically not fragile or anything, but it's best to take it easy with these high-end collectibles because they're not meant to be durable like toys. They're meant to be more handled with some measure of care, and that's what I try to do, especially fresh out of the box. The elbow joints crunch very nicely to about 90 degrees. That shoulder pad does impede it a little bit, but I mean, that's movie realism right there. That's what would happen if you were actually wearing this armor, so no complaint there, really. The hand is on the double peg system, so it's got like a swivel that you can kind of rearrange by just bending it around. That way you could actually have an in and an out, or swivel it back around, and then you have an up and a down. I love that peg system. I wish they could incorporate it into smaller scales. Not Hot Toys specifically, but that other brands could figure out a way to do that in 1/12 and maybe even 1/18. The helmet can actually just be popped off rather easily, revealing the peg joint there, and then we'll just swap it over. And then we'll just swap it onto the 332nd. Wait until you get it to pop on, and it sits really, really nicely. I haven't decided exactly which way I will display it. I'm not getting the Hot Toys Ahsoka, so you know, maybe I'll just swap it back and forth. Maybe some days I'll be feeling like a 501st display, and other days I'll be feeling like a 332nd display. However, I definitely think I will be sticking with the Phase 2, just because the Phase 1 has never really been a favorite design of mine. Just my personal taste. No hate to you Phase 1 lovers out there, just my personal take on the design. But for those that might be curious, here he is with the Phase 1, and that looks really nice. There's no complaints there at all. It does go on a little bit snugly because of that neckband right there, and then the fabric. It kind of bunches up just a little bit, but still goes on with no real problem at all, and definitely looks very sleek, very nice. And the weathering at the top of the helmet is unique to each helmet, which is nice as well. You know, they didn't just copy and paste the weathering from this helmet onto the Phase 2, so you could kind of mix it up a little bit if you felt so inclined. And there's really nothing to say that you couldn't do like an evolution of the Clone Trooper display where you got the Phase 1, the Phase 2, and then a Stormtrooper or something like that. So there's really numerous ways you can display these figures, and that's partially why I love the deluxe figures so much. They give you so many different options for display, and every couple of months you could just swap it up and decide, hey, I'm going to do something different this time. Now, having this figure out of the package a little bit longer, I actually noticed that the legs are significantly more articulated than Commander Cody's were. So they've changed up either the way they designed the padding and like the undersuit, or they've completely changed the actual body itself. Either way, it's a huge improvement. You can see it'll ratchet out to a split, back together. You can get it pretty well forward. I don't know, let's see, can we get a kneeling position out of him? That would be really nice. And yeah, you can actually get him into a kneeling position. That's something that I don't think Commander Cody could do very well. So again, I'm not totally sure if they changed the body or the undersuit or maybe both, But either way, this is some really, really nice articulation to see on a 1/6 scale figure. Really opens up the possibilities for display, poses, and toy photography, everything under the sun. With a figure like this, the extreme articulation is really nice to see. Now then, for other attachments on the figure, you can attach this backpack. It has these really nice vinyl straps that look very Clone Wars-esque, the way that they have those little segments in them. The fabric top is actually magnetized, so you can lift that up, store anything you want in there, and then that will magnet right back down into place. And then to get it on, it's going to be kind of tricky. Got to get those arms into a back position, I think. I've never tried to do this before, so we're trying it here on camera. But yeah, I think if you have those arms back and then just slowly work it into position, don't try to force anything, especially with these high-end collectibles. You want to be as gentle as you can. But once you get it into place, you can kind of fine-tune where the straps lay. And I don't believe, no, that's not magnetized, so this isn't going to like fit into a specific position. It'll just lay where you get it into position based on the straps. But that will go on there just like that, and it looks really nice. I didn't really fine-tune the straps or anything, but again, that looks really cool. You could store the grenades in there, other small accessories, or, you know, whatever comes to mind. Then also this trooper comes with this really nice jetpack, which I just noticed that this piece actually kind of slides out. I'm not totally sure if that's intentional. I guess there's one way to find out. Do the rocket thrusters fit into that hole? They do indeed, so maybe you can like, yeah, you could kind of do a display like that where he is firing the rocket off, I guess. That's really cool. Never really noticed that before in anyone else's posts about this figure. And you can also put these thrusters into, or like the flame effects into the thrusters rather. So those just peg into there. One more into there. I'll be very careful. There we go. So you got those flame effects, really nice. And then this actually is magnetized, and it snaps right on and stays really nicely. Like, give it a little gentle shake test, and that's not going to fall off. So that's a great posing option as well. And the base that it includes is actually perfect for this, because the figure stand that you're going to get with this set actually has this really nice bendable wire piece and a clamp that can go around the waist, or maybe around really anything that you're trying to grab onto with the figure. And it allows you to do some really cool aerial poses, as well as just your standard like at attention poses. But with this, you're able to, let's see if we can actually get this to work on camera. This is just a quick little 5-second pose, but just like that, you're able to have a really nice aerial pose where it's not even touching the base at all. He's just free floating out there with a jetpack going on, and that looks really cool. You could do this in a display cabinet, and I think it would look absolutely awesome. I don't know if I have the space to do an aerial pose with him, but either way, it's great to have that as an option. Now then, on to the weapons that this guy includes. We have the standard long DC-15 blaster in all of its glory. It's got a really nice paint brushing going on, so it kind of has a metallic sheen going on there. Looks really nice. Same one that we got with Commander Cody, so no complaints there. Good sculpt overall. Kind of a blend between the realistic and the animated with that forward piece there. I don't know what you would call it, the fin. That's more of a Clone Wars style fin versus what the realistic one looks like. But again, that's just artist interpretation and how they kind of blend the two, especially with this being a mix between a Clone Wars 501st Trooper and a realistic one. There is some liberty that they have to take with designs. Next we have the standard DC-15 Carbine. Looks really nice as well, same color, same brushing pattern. It does have an attempted folding stock, but unlike the Sideshow one, it can't get past that handle, and so it's pretty much useless as a folding stock. I kind of wish they would have just kept that attached just for the sake of posing, because now that doesn't really want to stay up there. So that's a bit of a bummer in terms of design. If they made it so that it could actually fold back, that'd be one thing. But if it's not going to be able to fold back, they should have just attached it right there. That's my take, but still, it is a very nice DC-15. Next, we have this really nice rocket launcher. The sculpt on this thing is absolutely amazing. This is the Clone Wars style rocket launcher. It's got some little silver highlights there on some of the bolts or rivets, whatever they might be in the Star Wars universe. It looks really, really cool. Might actually display one of the troopers with this and one with like a DC-15. There are no blast effects for this or anything, but maybe you could 3D print something if you wanted to make it look like it was firing an actual rocket. But yeah, really nice design. I always loved this Clone Wars style rocket launcher. It's so sleek and just very nicely shaped and designed. And Hot Toys has done a very nice job of translating that into more of a realistic style. And then finally, for handheld blasters, we have the Z6 Rotary Cannon, which looks absolutely impressive. Very reminiscent of Heavy from the Clone Wars, you know. Maybe we'll get a figure of him someday, though it would just be a plain Phase 1 trooper, I guess. But still very nicely detailed, the nice bronzy color there. You can actually spin the barrel if you feel so inclined to. Not really a necessary detail, but still kind of a cool quality of life one. You can just mess around and imagine that you're spraying down the clankers with your Z6 rotary cannon. You will want to be careful because this piece up here, actually both of these pieces, are free floating. They're not attached to the barrels to allow them to spin. So I guess with a hard like fall to the ground or maybe a little bit of a rough pose or something, you could snap that off. So just be careful. Same thing goes for this handle. It's very thin plastic there, and I wouldn't want that to break. So again, just use a measure of caution when posing or displaying or even storing these parts. Then there are two final weapons he comes with. First is this thermal detonator. Very nicely detailed, very, very cool looking. And this can be held in one of these open hands. You just kind of wedge it right there, and he holds it well. But then he also comes with this half detonator. It's primed, it has a little red light on there. It's one of the ones that they would stick to the side of a vehicle or to a building that they're preparing to demolish. However, disappointingly, there isn't a magnet in here. I was really, really hoping that this would be magnetized. So if you had a metal display case or something, you could snap it to that. However, it's not, and you can't, so you might have to just use like a little bit of sticky tack or something if you wanted to do a display like that. But regardless, still really nicely designed, still really nicely weathered, and I can't complain about that too much. Then for the hands, we have two trigger hands. We have the two open hands that are included on the figure already out of the box. We have a right motioning hand, kind of the Commander Cody blast him type finger pose. Then we have a left pointing finger pose, a left thumbs up, and then a right kind of splayed open action pose type deal. This is kind of like a, I don't know, mid-action stance. Maybe he's throwing a grenade, maybe he's ready for action, I don't know. It's just one of those ones that is included for more of the dynamic posing. And that is all that you're going to get with this Deluxe 501st Clone Trooper. Now, if you get the standard release, you are not going to get the 501st Phase 1, you're not going to get the 332nd, the backpack is also not included, you're not going to get the Z6 or the bazooka, you're not going to get the grenades, and you're not going to get the jetpack. Now, I believe they still include this standard base, but that's, you know, you can pose any kind of pose with that, not necessarily just jetpacks. But you're not going to get that jetpack, the other backpack, or any of these other deluxe items. You'll just get your blasters and your hands to make a standard 501st Clone Trooper. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about which one to get. Those are the pieces that you're going to get with the deluxe versus the standard. Both of the figures are going to be the same, though, in terms of just paint apps, all that kind of stuff. Same base figure, of course. And this figure is still available for pre-order through numerous retailers, including Sideshow.com, as well as many others. You can order from places that ship directly from Japan or China. Whatever your preference is, I got this one personally through Sideshow.com. Now, I really don't think that there is much else to say other than that I absolutely love this figure. I'm excited to get another one, as well as Captain Rex eventually in October. Or maybe they'll get an advanced shipment and they'll ship it sometime sooner. I would absolutely have no complaints if they were able to ship it in like September, but alas, we must wait upon them, and whenever they ship it, that is when we will get it. And there are really no shortage of poses that you can do with this figure. Here I was kind of trying to recreate that early Revenge of the Sith artwork of the Clone Trooper charging forward. That's just one of many poses that you can actually do with this figure because of that range of articulation in the legs. Though I must admit, I'm still not the best at posing 1/6 figures, and that is one of the key elements to having a really cool display, is getting a very nice pose with these figures. It's definitely possible, just takes a little bit of practice. I'm still kind of rusty with it, but I will get there and he will look absolutely amazing on display. Now, for everything that I love on this figure, there is one issue that I just noticed, and it's with the design of the Z6 rotary cannon. So you can see here at like a kind of at ready pose where it's like pointed down, it's okay. He can hold it. His wrist is at its most extreme point. It's kind of like that, if you will, against the armor. It cannot go any further up, and that makes it so that you can't hold the rotary cannon in a attack pose. You can't raise it anymore because of how his hand and the direction of that rotary cannon is. I mean, I don't even think a real human, if this was like life size, I don't think a human could even hold that. I had to go back and reference like this splash artwork from the box, and yeah, you can see right there, he's basically just posed holding it with 2 fingers, I guess, which is kind of funky. I wish they would have designed that just a little bit differently. It looks like I probably won't be posing this guy with the Z6 because I don't think he's going to be able to hold it very well. So that is quite a bummer. I mean, if you want him to just be posing at the ready with the Z6 just like this, he definitely can do that just fine. He can get his hand around there and everything like that. But unfortunately, he can't be all really crazy with it, kind of like a heavy scene or something like that. It is just at the ready. Very much disappointed about that. Maybe there's a trick that I'm just not aware of, so if you're more familiar with like Sideshow and Hot Toys than I am, perhaps you can point me in the right direction of how to pose this in a battle stance where it's not just held by 2 fingers on the right hand. I don't know, that was just something I noticed, had to point that out. But as for the other blasters, yeah, there is absolutely no issue here. In fact, I even realized there's kind of a cheat where you can get that elbow pad underneath the bicep armor, which gives you a past 90 crunch on this elbow joint, and you can get some sick poses with that. I absolutely love this quick little one that I came up with the DC-15. Very action ready, very much like that early, not early, but from Attack of the Clones, one of the pictures that they often show with him is like a Phase 1 clone kind of posed like that. So I basically tried to recreate that, and it looks good. Like, I might actually display him like this until Captain Rex arrives, because then I might try to do more of like a at attention pose for all 3 of them. But yeah, until then, this might be the pose I go with on the display shelf. It looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I really like that. But yeah, there we go. There is the full review of the Hot Toys 501st Legion Deluxe 1/6 scale action figure or collectible figurine. I don't really know the technical term, but it looks absolutely amazing, and I'm really happy to have this guy in the collection now. As always, if you want to stay up with the channel, consider following me over on Instagram. The link tree down in my bio, or down in the description of this video rather, will take you there, as well as to Entertainment Earth in case you want to pre-order or order any upcoming new figures, although I don't think they sell Hot Toys on that site. Any Black Series Vintage Collection, Acid Rain, anything you can imagine, it's on Entertainment Earth. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing and just interacting. I absolutely love all you guys, and I appreciate all the following that you've given me and the support you've given me on my channel. It means the world to me, and yeah, I couldn't do this without you guys, so thank you so much. As always, be kind to one another, have a wonderful evening, noon, or night, and I will catch you all in the next video.